Hi everyone, this is Dr. Burkman here. This is my first Facebook Live event, so bear with me as we're kind of troubleshooting things. Oh, there we go, I think we're live now. Do you know where we see questions, or do you know?
I think they'll come up in the comments.
Oh, perfect, okay. So Dr. Lester and myself are going to be the ones hosting tonight's Facebook Live. So as we go along, you can post your questions underneath our video, and we'll do our best to keep up with them as we go along. So as I mentioned, tonight's talk is about detoxification. So kind of a topic of talk every January with patients. We talk about restarting healthy lifestyle habits, setting intentions for the upcoming year. And after last year, I'm sure everybody's ready to set intentions to just have, be on a better path for a better year in many ways. So when it comes to starting a detoxification program, I like to tell people it's not just about a diet. It's not just about weight loss. It's about looking at healthy habits that are going to serve us throughout the whole rest of the year. So, looking at our sleep habits. Are we sleeping? Are we getting adequate rest and restoration? Are we hydrating well? Are we getting enough water on a day-to-day basis? Are we exercising? What's our stress level like? And then obviously looking at our nutrition is a big piece of that as well. With that, people often tell me, like, how do I know when it's time to detox? Like, when is a good time to consider a detox? What should I be looking for? So, it's good for anyone. Anyone can kind of start looking at their health habits and creating better ones. So it's not limited to just people who are having health ailments. And B, people who have chronic afflictions, whether it's chronic headaches, chronic joint pain, you know, chronic digestive upset and symptoms. Like there's a lot of reasons why you might want to start looking at your habits, and maybe that might be a reason as to why you're experiencing these symptoms on a chronic basis. So when it comes to a detoxification, inherently you're going to have to give up some of our creature comforts, and it's not just about being torturous. And I'm not trying to be mean when I say we have to cut out certain things, but there is a method behind that. So one of the major things that I have people to cut out during a detox protocol, and it kind of goes without saying, is alcohol. So it definitely doesn't really serve us. It does slow down our liver detox pathways, and so that's something that we would definitely need to cut out. But luckily, there are some fun, healthy botanical mocktail recipes that we can use, or we can use kombucha or other things to kind of use as a fun beverage. We don't have to be boring with the detox, but obviously alcohol has to go. Something else that we often have people to cut out is sugar. So obviously there's no daily allotment of sugar I want someone to attain in the day, but we do find over time we start to lean in on our sugar for energy, and to kind of boost our energy and our mood, and so it's important to make sure that we focus in on that, and we have some tricks of the trade and some things we can do to help ease the detox of sugar out of your body. And caffeine is another big one. That's kind of I'm more lenient than probably most with my caffeine whenever we do a detox protocol, because cutting it cold turkey can feel really crummy, especially for the first several days. But we have some thoughts that we can kind of dive into on that. So before I go on, I'm going to introduce you to our newest addition, Dr. Lester. We're not sitting side by side to one another because it's hard to social distance, and to wear a mask while talking to you guys live is difficult. So we're going to kind of swap back and forth. So I'm going to let her talk about liver detox and kind of a little bit more details on detoxification protocols. So stay tuned.
Hi everybody. As Dr. Burkman mentioned, my name is Dr. Lester. I am the newest naturopathic addition to our team here at Collaborative Natural Health Partners, and super happy to be a part of this team. So Dr. Burkman had mentioned some of the reasons for detox and what the detox kind of is. So we do have different ways of actually detoxing. We can detox through our urine, through our sweat, through our stool. So these are all different modes of getting toxins eliminated from our body. Now, what kind of things can we even think of as toxins that we would want to detoxify? Things like our medications, environmental or chemical toxins, our foods in our diet that might not be as supportive to our overall nutrition. We also have things like Dr. Burkman mentioned, the alcohol, caffeine, and other things we may be exposed to that aren't really benefiting us. So so with detox, symptoms we might be experiencing, things like chronic constipation, that I mentioned through your stool, you're having one form of your detoxification. So if you are chronically constipated, you may not be eliminating things like your hormones, particularly your estrogen, well enough. So you can be having symptoms revolving having too much estrogen on board. So going forward as well, supporting those different ways of actually eliminating toxins, we think about sweating. So anything you can do in your day-to-day daily life that can promote sweating. So whether that is through your exercise, supporting that through saunas, especially infrared saunas can be really supportive, and little things in your lifestyle that can really get your heart rate up to promote you eliminating toxins through your skin. Doing things like hydrating yourself so that you're eliminating toxins through your urine, and then doing supportive mechanisms to promote having your regular bowel movements as well. So what actually is detox to chemically in our body? Our liver is a huge organ that supports our detoxification processes. So we've got different phases of liver detox. We consider phase 1 and phase 2, and we have different supportive nutrients that actually support those phases specifically. So detox, a lot of times people think it's this restrictive deprivation, and it can be, but really we want to think about how we can nourish this detoxification process. And we do that by actually nourishing these phases in our liver pathways. So phase 1, that's when our body and our liver recognizes that we have a toxin, and some supportive nutrients that really promote this phase 1 level of detoxification of our liver are things like our B vitamins, glutathione, and amino acids as well. So this is really where we want to start thinking about what dietary changes can we make to give us the best nutrients we possibly can have to support these pathways naturally. And then in the middle of phase 1 and phase 2, our body actually becomes it can actually become a little bit more toxic, where we promote these free radicals in a sense. So this is where things like our antioxidants are really important to neutralize this. So things like green tea, our antioxidant vitamins such as vitamin A, C, E, things like selenium, copper, zinc, and other good nutrients. And then also foods are super medicinal, and things like garlic, onions, and other things containing thiols. So that really helps promote the free radicals from decreasing, so we don't have an oxygenated state, which can be a little bit more toxic. But then that's where we shift into phase 2 of liver detox, where our body actually starts to eliminate this and makes it go from this scarier toxin to actually leaving our body. And that's where we think of more amino acids, things like glycine, taurine, glutamine, NAC or N-acetylcysteine, and that's where we actually will allow these toxins to leave our body through our urine or our stool. Should we go more into the detox? The diet?
Yeah, you're going to talk out?
Yeah, I'll send you guys back over to Dr. Burkman.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for bearing with our flip-flops back and forth. So as Dr. Lester alluded, there's a lot of different nutrients that we sometimes employ during a detox to enhance that process. So it isn't really a one-size-fits-all when it comes to detoxification, and that's where specialization comes in. So if someone admittedly has been, indulging in more sugar, more alcohol, and we know it's going to be like a tough go of it the first couple of weeks when you start to eliminate some of these things, especially sugar. Anyone who's tried to eliminate sugar cold turkey knows that you may not feel so well, you might be a little snippy, and your loved ones might also attest to that. So we have some things that we can use to help assist you to not feel that way. When it comes to a detox though, like I had mentioned before, you always want to set an intention. So I usually say journaling during a detox is important. So saying, hey, I'm doing this because I hate my headaches. I don't want to deal with them anymore. I want to have more energy for my kids. I want to sleep better or whatever. So it doesn't have to be a physical thing. It can also be I want to eat better because I want to be healthier, and having that positive thought in your mind will help you to get through some of those difficult bumps whenever you start a detox. So setting the intention and then picking a detox that's most appropriate for you. So one that Dr. Lester and I are more familiar with is the one we just created recently that we now have on our website for sale. We created an ebook. We call it our 28-day anti-inflammatory detox protocol. So what it is basically is a food-based detox that is going to teach us new recipes and ways to eat and to kind of create health habits instead of just limiting and eliminating things. So like I had mentioned before, detoxes do come with things that you need to eliminate. And during this particular detox, we ask that you eliminate gluten, dairy, eggs, and sugar. So the reason behind that being that these are things that can stimulate our immune system in a negative way, not for everybody, but for a lot of us. And to be honest, if we all were looking at our daily diet, we probably had one, if not all of those things in our diet today. So you don't know until you cut something out how you're going to feel, for better or for worse. So 28 days really is the minimum amount of time you need to cut something out of your diet before you know if it's going to make a difference for you. So that's the reasoning behind the 28 days. Arguably, I have some people do it more extended, closer to 3 months period of time, but everybody's individual. So those are the things we cut out. That's the not so fun part. But what are the things we would want to add in? Well, vegetables are definitely a foundation. That should be a foundation of all of our diets. And it comes to no surprise that that's kind of a foundation of our 28-day detox. So the goal would be to aim for 9 cups of vegetables a day. So 9 cups sounds like a ton, especially if you're not used to eating any at all. And we have ways to kind of help navigate that and get that those levels up in your daily diet. But 9 cups measured raw, so it's not that intense when you think about cooking that or blending them. It's really not that much. We also can't just eat 9 cups of carrot sticks. So although some of my patients might do that and saying, hey, I eat my carrots for the day, we have to get plenty of a variety of nutrients through our vegetables. So we break those 9 cups down into 3 different categories: the dark leafy greens, the colorful vegetables or fruits. If you cut them all the way through, they remain colorful. And then the cruciferous vegetables, things like broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage. And so when you eat that variety, you're getting all of your good minerals like calcium, magnesium, and iron through your dark greens. You're getting all your antioxidants through your color, and all the detox support through the cruciferous. So we have our detox book is chock full of recipes to help support you through that process, so that you can basically create a meal that has all of those in them. And it's actually, once you kind of get used to that, how you need to add a green and a color and a cruciferous every time you eat, it's like you almost feel like something's missing if you don't have that on your plate. So that's kind of the foundation. From there, we always want to layer in good healthy fats. So it's kind of a misnomer that fats make us fat. In fact, if we don't get enough fats, we aren't satiated, we feel hungry more frequently, and that can be a pitfall, and that's something that people usually fear when we talk about detoxification is, am I going to be hungry? And that shouldn't be. If you're eating 9 cups of vegetables a day with enough fat and protein, you should be actually like, I don't know if I can fit it all in because it's a lot of roughage. So if you're hungry, there's things we can do to kind of help mitigate that. But the fats, things like coconut oil, avocado oil, olive oil, we like to use liberally. I don't tell people like how much or how little to use. Just use it as you would need to cook your food. And that should be enough to kind of fulfill that requirement. This detox does allow for animal proteins. For my vegetarians or vegans, you don't have to utilize obviously animal meats for that, but we can. You can still use legume-based proteins and things like that during this detox. So commonly asked questions that we get during a detox. So what happens if I cheat? So say I had pizza night with my family, I blew it out of the water. I had eggs, dairy, and gluten, and sugar and alcohol all on the same night. Well, I would try to pick a good time to do the 28-day detox so that you don't have those pitfalls. If you have a family party planned, which I know a lot of us probably aren't planning those right now during a pandemic, but if you know, you want to kind of plan the best time and set yourself up for success. But obviously these things will come up and will happen. So what do? basically you just get right back on the horse the next day. I tell people, if you can't give up your gluten-free oatmeal in the morning, that's fine. Just know you still have to get 9 cups of vegetables, the 3 different categories in the day. Like, that's the priority. So if you want to have pizza, you still got to get all those vegetables in the day. And usually by the end of the day, if you have all of those in, you don't really feel like having any more at that point. Same kind of applies for social events. Again, that's not really applicable to today's world right now, unfortunately. But you can politely let a host know, hey, I'm on a detox right now, and just bring your own food and don't make a big deal out of it. Bring a smoothie, drink water while you're there, maybe make a fun mocktail so you don't feel left out. And that's a way to kind of circumvent social events. I often get the question, can I just juice my vegetables in order to get those in the day? And juicing, while it does give you a lot of good nutrition, and I do like juicing, I usually recommend during this detox time that you actually eat the vegetables. Whether it's cooked or blended in a smoothie or stewed in a soup or something like that, because I want you to get the good fiber, because that will also help to fill you up. So obviously eating a beet, eating the actual flesh and fiber from that versus juicing it, you're going to feel full versus actually having your blood sugar spiked high and then go back down. What about how much protein to have in the day? So that's a question I get a lot. So I don't tell people they have to count things out. Like, I don't tell people to do things that I don't personally do. So I'm not nitpicky about I got this much carb, this much fat, this much protein in the day. What I do say though, roughly if somebody needs an eyeball of how much protein to get, about 9 to 21 ounces depending on your weight. So the calculation is based on your weight in kilograms. So it's about 0.8 ounces of meat per kilogram of weight. And so again, adding in some animal proteins or whatever protein that you typically use with your vegetables, with your meals 3 times a day is adequate. I will say though, if you're doing a smoothie to kind of help, use your, to plug in a bunch of greens and get some dark berries and count a lot of those categories in there, I don't want it to just be fruit or veggies on its own. I'd want some protein. So we have a lot of smoothie recipes that include things like nut butters to kind of give you that protein. Or we have a protein powder option that you can add to that because you don't want to skimp on the protein. Otherwise, you might not feel full enough. So just to recap, we're talking about detoxification and what it means to detox, why it's important, who might be a good candidate for a detox, and some common pitfalls and things that kind of are associated with detoxification. I'm not seeing a lot of questions. Actually, here we go. Oh, I have a lot. People are being so kind. So if anybody has any specific questions about detox, we're happy to field them. It feels a little bit more organic if we actually have a question or two that we can speak to directly. That being said, we are going to be hosting a detox group here at our I wish it was in our office and we could see you guys again, but it's actually going to be virtual and much less clunkier than this, I promise. So Dr. Young and I are going to be doing a detox group. It's through the whole 28-day detox kind of program. So it's going to be on Thursday nights from 5:30 to 6:30 starting next Thursday. So we're going to have that event up on our website for sign up. So you can sign up. I think we are going to cap it because obviously virtually there's only so much we can do and accommodate. And really it's to kind of help navigate all the pitfalls that come along with a new detox protocol. And I'm the first to admit I'm definitely not perfect with it, but we've all collectively have ways to kind of navigate oh man, I really miss my corn chips, what are you doing? And I think that would be a good way to kind of help everybody kind of stay on track with everything. Okay, good question. 9 to 21 ounces of protein per meal or per day? Per day. You don't need to aim for that many ounces per meal. There is a calculation based on grams, which I can get to you more specifically. But that's the thing is a lot of people think they need to just cram a lot of protein when really I don't want us to shy away from the carbs in plants. I want to shy away from the carbs in things like oats, grains, all that kind of stuff. We want to try to just use plants if we can instead. I'm going to see if Dr. Lester has some more things to add to our detox program. Do you want to
Yeah, sure.
talk things? All right.
For sure.
Stay tuned.
Okay, so kind of just to reiterate some things too is when in doubt, just really get back to the basics. In naturopathic medicine, we really think about the foundations of health and the conditions that promote health. So we want to really focus on diet. That's what we've been talking about. Really sustaining a really healthy diet and getting a lot of nutrients in will support those pathways that I mentioned earlier. So we can do that naturally. It doesn't have to. You don't have to be supplementing with the things I mentioned earlier. You should be getting all those nutrients through these supportive foods that Dr. Burkman has mentioned and that's outlined in the protocol we created. Another thing too is the hydration. I mentioned this earlier as well, but just trying to get at least half your body weight in ounces of water that will promote your lymphatic flow. So the channels that carry our immune modulators around our body to help decrease our inflammation and getting nutrients to our different tissues so that we don't have muscle cramping or sites of injury. It just helps promote getting those good nutrients you're getting in your diet to go throughout your body. So hydration is super important as well along with diet. Exercise, like I mentioned, just trying to find little ways to move your body throughout the day, which also promotes lymphatic flow throughout your body as well as your circulation for your blood flow, and then that usually will promote sweating as well the more intensely you are exercising. We also think about sleep. So sleep is super restorative. We really want to focus on getting at least those 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night. This could depend on the person, but sleep, it restores the way our immune system's actually working. So if we're not sleeping as much, we're more prone to get infections and to have more inflammation throughout our body. So focusing on good quality sleep, having a good nightly routine to promote that restful sleep throughout the night as well. And then really finding ways throughout the day to manage your stress and finding time in your day to actually do things that you love, because stress in and of itself can be really inflammatory. Our cortisol hormone or our fight or flight hormone, that can cause more inflammation down the line, and that can really hinder our ability to actually detox. So Dr. Burkman had mentioned that those social media detoxes, in fasting from, sometimes the internet can be a good thing because mentally and emotionally that can affect us as well. So not only physically do we want to look at these things that might be hindering our ability to have full health, but also mentally and emotionally just working on these things to decrease our stress throughout our life. And even if that is just finding 30 minutes in your day to do the things that you enjoy, and maybe adding in some meditation at night or other things that will reduce your stress throughout the day. So awesome question. Signs that you might need a detox. So there could be a lot of different signs that someone might need a detox, and these can be individualized. But some people show that they aren't detoxing properly through having skin eruptions. So any type of rashes might show that. Sometimes people who eat sugar or dairy, they might notice some acne pop up, and that could be your body trying to detox from the sugars, the sugar from the dairy or sugar from the actual carbohydrates. And then we also might see someone with fatigue, brain fog, constipation, stubborn weight gain that they can't lose. You may see lab markers like your cholesterol is a little bit higher because our cholesterol wants to detox through the liver as well. So there's also a lot of supportive mechanisms we can do too herbally with naturopathic medicine, which you'll learn about a little bit more in our detox book as well, on different herbs that can support these pathways and just support your liver as well to improve our detoxification process. Any other questions here? Yeah, so Whole30, that's an awesome option as well. It eliminates a lot of the things that we talk about in the book too. It's similar to what we've discussed, but Dr. Burkman had mentioned those 9 vegetables a day. So that's where it might differ a little bit as well. We really want to emphasize getting those cruciferous vegetables, the green leafy vegetables. So that's where we really want to fill our plate with that. Versus Whole30 is also an awesome anti-inflammatory type diet, just a little bit different in some of those requirements as for getting your vegetable intake in. Any other questions right now? And I think right now too, it's January, people think about this as wanting kind of a little bit of a fresh start. It's now more than ever, I think it's a good time to detox mentally, emotionally, and physically. But like I said, you can do these little things throughout your day. It doesn't have to be this massive juice cleanse for 7 days that you might hear about on the internet. You know, it's really supposed to be a nourishing thing. And just if you can just add in these things to your day-to-day life, getting more nutrients to support those detox pathways, that's a really great start as well. Anything you want to add right now?
Yeah, I think I'll just finish it out.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Handing you back over to Dr. Burkman.
Good job.
All right. So, okay. So I see some questions here. Tend to lose and gain weight quickly. Yeah. So I mean, when we yo-yo up and down with our weight, a lot of times it can be a sign of hormonal imbalance, and that needs to be addressed as well. So really, we're just talking about the food piece, but definitely whenever you cut out foods that are inflammatory or stressing our body, that helps to allow your hormones to find balance as well. So whatever is the underlying reason, this definitely helps to get to the root. In naturopathic medicine, we have the 5 determinants of health, and food is definitely a huge piece of that. So it should help to kind of, definitely, obviously, weight loss is a side bonus of a detoxification program. I usually tell people, though, when they start a detox protocol, to not have that be the first and only goal. Weight loss is definitely something that is on everyone's minds typically this time of year, but I would also encourage people to pick something that's going to be a side benefit of that. So I'm going to have more energy, or I'm not going to stress so much about what I'm going to create for dinner because now I have a plan. I know how to kind of build my plate better, that kind of thing. Why no eggs? So eggs are immune, for some, it can stimulate our immune system in a negative way. So our immune system, you want to avoid anything that could possibly negatively impact our immune system. It's already bombarded with stress and many other factors throughout the day. So if we add in foods that are negatively impacting our immune system, it can then cause an inflammatory cascade, and then it leads to weight gain or swelling and that kind of thing. So with eggs, it's not bad for everyone. In fact, it's a complete protein, all of your amino acids. And so if we eliminate it for 28 days and try adding it back in and see how you do. And if you have no issues whatsoever, then that's definitely a good thing to add back in. If you find you have headaches or notice any type of ill effects from that, then that would be something we'd want to try to knock back out of our diet, or at least rotate or have at a more minimal level. Also, in all fairness, a lot of times we just eat eggs every single morning and we don't ever take a break from it, so it's good to kind of get a different take on stuff. So we have some good egg alternatives because it does make an easy base to make like an omelet to get all those veggies in the morning. So I think we're getting close to the 30-minute mark, and I'm not seeing any more questions. So I hope that was helpful, like just kind of a primer on detox, like what it means. We get bombarded this time of year from social media and the media in general, just what to kind of do and what we need to kind of do for detoxes. And it doesn't have to mean just eating only grapefruits and water and taking a ton of supplements, I guess, is the bottom line. And the protocol that Dr. Lester and I have made is really about teaching you new habits, how to kind of create a healthier lifestyle, which is going to help with anything else chronic kind of going on in the background. So as a patient of collaborative natural health, we talk about food all the time. So, to our patient base, they're probably like, yeah, we've heard all this before. But we also don't want it to be something that doesn't feel tangible. So that's why we've created this pretty easy to use protocol, and we have it for download on our website. We will have physical books for sale in our dispensary, and we are, like I said, going to be hosting our first event next Thursday, our first 28-day protocol. So if you're interested in that, please look on our website and you can sign up for that, and we're going to help navigate our first protocol. So thanks so much for everyone who listened in, and we hope to see you guys soon. Take care. You want to say bye?
Bye, thank you guys. Enjoy the rest of your night and happy detoxing.
Yeah. Stay healthy. See you guys.